And they have, in the first week in office, gutted this key aviation safety advisory committee.
Coast Guard.
I'm talking about all the people that take care of us, that make sure that you are safe. They are trying to gut that to install
Biden was
people.
taking care of us? Biden couldn't even show up in Palestine for a year.
That's my favorite game that you play. It's not going to work for Really? I'm talking about the president. You won. And now I'm talking about the president and the people he put into office. He showed up with one message. It's DEI's fault. Then Hegseth says DEI. Then Duffy says DEI. And then J.D. Vance, maybe playing a little bit of cleanup, says, well, if it wasn't DEI in terms of the pilots it's very stressful to work with people when we have these kinds of DEI policies. DEI is not a scapegoat for everything. It is, I get it, for some voters, it's what they want to hear about. But
in a way, DEI is the mirror to the Democrats' argument with racism or climate change. It can be used to explain everything, except unlike racism and climate change, which the left found under every rock, every issue. DEI is indeed under every rock because the Democrats put it there. In fact, you boasted about it. So it's nobody's fault if they're suspicious that it might do damage because we were told how great it was. And then we learned that it was discriminatory. And it's not our fault to wonder, is this playing a role in a lot of the problems that we were seeing in whether it was airplane parts or anything, or in the entertainment industry? We saw problems and we're going like, well, this seems to be everywhere. We were told that. So I think the suspicion is fair. It may not be right. This could have been human error. This could have been a malfunction. But the suspicion is always going to be there because it was placed there by your clan.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Yeah, boy, as you can see, we have a rough one tonight, y'all. But I want to send my prayers, my love, my condolences out to the victims. And 2025 is off to a crazy start, man. We just got through with these fires and these planes and planes been crashing for a while now. I don't know. It's just been crazy, man. But I wanted to send my prayers, love, to you guys, man, for your safety, your health, your wellness. That we all have an amazing 2025. But a lot is going on right now. There's a huge argument that took place live on air. And people even posting about, well, I have to agree with Trump, sadly, about the incompetence and it's just crazy right now. And then some people are saying, well, Trump didn't show no empathy about his statement of the reporters asking him. And it's just been crazy. And anything the man says, they continue to wipe him through the mud, especially with the left, man. And these Democrats, these liberals, Trump say anything, and we just wipe him through the mud, But we got a lot of big things on our hands, man. A lot of big things are going to take place these next 4 years. So we are on the ground running, man. But again, I hope everybody is blessed, well, and healthy. That you're having an amazing weekend, or whatever time you're watching this. That you have an amazing week, an amazing month, and an amazing year, you guys. People are scared right now. They don't even want to get on a plane no more, man. But it's a lot of crazy things taking place. I just don't see a Pat 25 running into a commercial plane. I just don't see it. Something is I'm in my gut feeling telling me it's more to this than we know. But then again, it also a lot of incompetence, a lot of just. If you look, all the things we see hitting the fan right now, it's just, Trump was right about this. He was right about that. It's just a lot going on. But I hate how they if anything, they try to find anything to make him look like just a bad human being. He doesn't care. He has no empathy. This and that. I mean, it's just a disgrace, man. And then saying what just took place on the live on there with Jessica Tarlov. And oh boy, so let's go and get into it, man. And again, I love you guys, man. Thank y'all for being here. Let me know how y'all feel about this situation. It's a lot going on, a lot of conspiracies being thrown out right now. So we're not gonna do all that, man. But I do want to just send my love, my condolences to the families, my prayers out, and it's devastating. I don't wish this on nobody, man. But the time is ticking for all of us. Everything is temporary. And this is why I tell you guys, man, live your best life. You never know when it's time. Live your best life. Be an amazing human being. Care for one another. Love one another. Reach for your goals, your dreams. Because we all live in this fast time travel. And it's gone just like that. But there has been a lot of incompetence. A lot of didn't earn it, unqualified people in positions, that have killed people. Just being honest. As you can see these last 4 years. Liars, criminals. Wide open borders. Let's talk, let's be real. And there are beautiful souls that should still be here. Just being real, man. Let's be real here. But let's get into it. Enough of me yapping. I can go on for 30, 40, 50 minutes. Y'all know how I am. I know a lot of y'all just saying, let's get into it. So let's get into it, man.
And just an hour ago, President Trump signing an executive memo directing the FAA to assess damage from DEI policies and ensure competence in hiring. He also addressed the nation on those concerns earlier today.
Our hearts are shattered alongside yours, and our prayers are with you now. We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. What you did have is you had vision. The helicopter had vision of the plane, because you had vision of it all. This is a tragedy that should not have happened.
How you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash?
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this.
Should people be hesitant to fly right now?
No, not at all. I've not hesitate to fly. This is something that it's been many years.
Again, what he's saying to y'all, the policies, the previous policies had a bunch of incompetent people in positions that they should have been in. But again, we twist and we mix up words, and again, but then they say, Rick, it's just crazy, man. But they're gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way to wipe him through the mud and make him look like a bad human being. No matter what I say, no matter what you say. Hey.
Something like this has happened, and the collision is just something that we don't expect ever to happen again.
And here's the president again later in the day.
Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Greg, a lot of heartbreak today as we assess basically the full weight of all of this comes to the fore.
Yeah, it's a terrible story. And we talk about it because it is like the first big casualty in 15 years. So that's really what makes it news, because it's so rare. We lose this many people in 2 days of fentanyl overdoses. It took us years to pay attention to that. I know nothing about this area, but when Trump talks about aviation, he's not some talking head like me who bones up on Wikipedia. He knows jets, he knows copters. Half his life is spent in the air. And sadly, in 1989, 3 of his top executives died in a copter crash. He understands this. So this isn't like, when he talks about this stuff, it isn't like Joe Biden riffing on, corn pop or his life on Amtrak. Trump actually lives this stuff. So It's more than just an opinion. It's somebody opinion backed by experience. But the question then is, it's the words versus deeds test, you know? Do you react with like, how dare he say this stuff? Can you believe Trump said this? It's like, so what? He earned it. You know, his brash commentary is part of the package. And part of that package is transparency. He says what he thinks. I give him the latitude because, you know, it's what we voted for. He's earned the right to say these things. And if you don't like his words, just follow his deeds, because those are music to my ears.
Judge Janine.
First of all, the enormity of this is so painful. For, you know, you had these figure skating champions and young people who wanted to be champions and trainers, and, you know, within seconds of landing, you know, they're immersed.
That's what really hurt me, you guys, that they were landing. That's what really, you know, it really hurt, man. And again, there's some amazing people. It was some amazing individuals, beautiful souls on that plane, man. And I really wish they were still here, man, you know. Beautiful souls, kids. I mean, it's sad, y'all. It really is, but it really hurts me that they were landing. You know, that they were landing. Family members were waiting at the arrival, man.
In freezing cold water at night. I mean, the trauma that will be visited and the post-traumatic stress on the families who have to go through this, my heart goes out to them. The second thing I want to say is this, that it was amazing. The president came out, Sean Duffy, Transportation, Pete Hegseth, DOD. I mean, this is an indication of what kind of 4 years we're going to have. They're going to be on the mark and out there talking to the American people. The third thing I want to say is that these choppers do military exercises over the river all the time. They've been doing it for 40 or 50 years. I spoke to someone who's very knowledgeable about this, and he said that the training with this Black Hawk, they came from Fort Belvoir. Mm-hmm. Fort Belvoir used to be called Intelligence Support Activity, the ISA training center. They're that sophisticated there. We know that the chopper pilots were experienced. 1,000 hours and 500 hours is a good number of hours. But it appears that the chopper went into the plane, and whether or not it's because there were too few people in the flight controllers in the tower, and whether it had to do with one should have been talking to the plane, one should have been talking to the chopper, and they didn't have that. I don't know. I'm not in a position to take any, to make any criticism. But what I do know right now is that it's going to take a long time to get the number of people we need into the FAA and into these towers, but it's got to be done soon. It's got to be done quickly, and it's got to be done based upon competence.
Well, and it's possible, Jesse, that technology could help on this front as well.
And staffing. And I agree. It's just the sickest feeling all day long, having to cover the story. I can't imagine what the families are going through right now. Yeah. It's just horrible. And knowing Pete and knowing Sean, you just saw how angry they were about this, because what a tragedy. And I want full accountability. I want an investigation, and I want it immediately. So you're right. These were two experienced Black Hawk pilots. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make any sense. The New York Times is reporting that there was severe staffing shortages at the control tower. They're supposed to have 30. They only had 19. This has been going on for quite some time. So one of the air traffic control guys was doing the job of two people. And when you do that, he's communicating with the chopper and the plane pilot. And what happens is you get radio frequencies that the helicopter pilots are not hearing the same thing as the plane pilots. The staffing shortages, Donald Trump is arguing, are a result of DEI policies. You go back to the Obama-Biden administration, and they rejected 1,000 well-qualified applicants for air traffic control because they weren't diverse enough. Joe Biden had a DEI quota, And this isn't about black people. A lot of people say, hear DEI, hear black. No,
that's all they. That's all
trying
people.
to set quotas.
That's all they hear.
For people who are deaf to get jobs, people who are dwarves to get jobs, people with transgender issues to get jobs. It's not about race. It's every sort of underprivileged person that has issues, and they want to be able to put these in positions at the FEA. They were unable to meet their own DEI quotas. And that's what is leading to staffing shortages, among many other things. So is it the main factor? We don't know. Right now, there's a staffing issue. And it's weird that there's a staffing issue at the FAA because there's no staffing issue anywhere else in the federal government. Everywhere else in the federal government, there's plenty of bureaucrats. There's too many bureaucrats. But at the FAA, they can't find enough people. That's mismanagement. And that's obvious. And that's been going on for a long time. It wasn't about money. Biden and Trump spent the exact same money on the FAA. This could also have been a medical issue. This could have been a mechanical issue. We're not going to know until we have this investigation, and I just hope we get it really soon.
Yeah. Last word to you, Jessica.
I echo everyone's sentiments about how heart-wrenching this is for the families of those who passed away. It's going to be a very long road. There was a story about a figure skater who was part of this group who tried to get on the plane, but his dog was too big.
Right.
So he had to make the 14-hour drive, which saved his life. And I'm sure his survivor's guilt, knowing how close that community is going to be
terrible.
A lifetime of pain and anguish. And it's just heartbreaking. The staffing issue, obviously a massive problem. If you have one person doing two people's jobs in the dark, with the way those runways are, with the lights of a city, which I know is a complicating factor as well, even if they did have night vision goggles, which we have heard that they did have them on board the Black Hawk. In terms of what the president has said, and I fully appreciate, as Greg has said many times now, it doesn't matter if you like how he says it or what he says, this is what people voted for. And I agree with you to a large degree. People said, I have a problem with DEI, for instance. I don't care about it being gruff. I want to see the action. But I would say that there is a moment to be talking about those things, and there is a moment to just be a consoler in chief. And I thought that CNN's aviation expert, Pete Muntean, put it well. He said, what he said is not only unprofessional, unpresidential, inconsiderate of the status of the investigation, but it's frankly unhinged. This DEI policy was put in.
You agree that was unhinged, what he did?
I think coming out, and the first part when he was reading off the prompter was correct. Whoever wrote it, if it was Stephen Miller or someone else, that sounded like somebody who was actually thinking of the families of the people who had just passed away.
Here we go, y'all.
And then he had a campaign rally in the middle of what should have been a somber occasion. And these DEI policies were put in place in 2013. He had every opportunity through his first administration to revoke them if they thought they were terrible, but he didn't. And when you talk about staffing issues, sure, the control room is a problem, but you know what else is a problem? That there's no head of the FAA because Michael Whitaker resigned for months. Elon Musk has been trying to push him out since September when he said you should pay a $600,000 fine for SpaceX, that they're failing to follow the license requirements, constantly on him. He knows he's going to get fired. He resigns. We have no head of the Coast Guard. And they have, in the first week in office, gutted this key aviation safety advisory committee.
Coast Guard.
I'm talking about all the people that take care of us, that make sure that you are safe. They are trying to gut that to install
Biden was
people
taking care of us? Biden couldn't even show up in Palestine for a year.
Oh, boy.
That's my favorite game that you play. It's not going to work for Really? I'm talking about the president. You won. And now I'm talking about the president and the people he put into office. He showed up with one message. It's DEI's fault. Then Hegseth says DEI. Then Duffy says DEI. And then J.D. Vance, maybe playing a little bit of cleanup, says, well, if it wasn't DEI in terms of the pilots it's very stressful to work with people when we have these kinds of DEI policies. DEI is not a scapegoat for everything. It is, I get it, for some voters, it's what they want to hear about. But you should.
In a way, DEI is the mirror to the Democrats' argument with racism or climate change. It can be used to explain everything, except unlike racism and climate change, which the left found under every rock, every issue. DEI is indeed under every rock because the Democrats put it there. In fact, you boasted about it. So it's nobody's fault if they are suspicious that it might do damage, because we were told how great it was, and then we learned that it was discriminatory, and it's not our fault to wonder, is this playing a role in a lot of the problems that we were seeing in whether it was airplane parts or anything, or in the entertainment industry? We saw problems and we're going like, well, this seems to be everywhere. We were told that. So I think the suspicion is fair. It may not be right. This could have been human error. This could have been a malfunction. But the suspicion is always going to be there because it was placed there by your clan, your evil clan.